Once again, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the fourth video of HSRP protocol, and in this video, I will talk about how to track WAN IP with using IP SLA and object tracking command, right? So as we have seen in previous video that if any WAN links line protocol went down, then how do we track that interface, right, with using HSRP protocol, right? So let me show you that what I have discussed in previous video, right? So let's suppose this is the ISP, right? And this ISP is connected to different customers, right? So let's suppose there is a single organization, right? And this customer having 3 routers, right? Let's suppose this is the R1 is the primary router and R2 is the secondary and R1 is the also in secondary state, right? So let's suppose what happens behind the router, few users are connected to this routers, right? So let's suppose this user right now is communicating with R1 router, right? So if this interface went down, I mean one interface, then all the traffic will come through the switch, and from the switch the traffic will come to the R1 router because this is the primary router, and simply traffic will be dropped, right? So traffic will not go to the internet. So in this situation, we have the features in HSRP protocol that is called line protocol. If any line protocol went down, then how we track with using HSRP track command, right? So let's suppose if I want to track this IP, I mean 8.8, right? 8.8, right? From the R1 router, I mean from the customer router, right? So what happens if this, I mean Google DNS went down, then how can we track this this IP, right? So with using object tracking and IP SLA, we can track this IP also. So let me show you the command what I have written. So as you can see that in previous video, as we have discussed, right? If any WAN interface went down of the router, let's suppose WAN interface this one for R2, gig Ethernet 1/0 is the WAN interface, and for R3, WAN interface is the gig 1/0, right? So if this interface went down, then we can use this configuration in HSRP protocol, right? So this configuration is called as a line protocol. If line protocol went down, then we can use this command, right? So let's suppose if I want to track Google DNS, so with using IP SLA and object tracking, we can track this route as well, right? So as you can see that here I have written how to track any of the WAN IP in HSRP with using IP SLA and object tracking. So this is the features in also available in HSRP protocol, right? So let's configure this one because I have configured line protocol in previous video, right? So in this video, basically I am going to configure object tracking and IP SLA, right? First, I will configure IP SLA, then I will call this IP SLA in object tracking, right? So as you can see that here I have called IP SLA number, I mean sequence number I have called in track command, right? Then I will configure this track, right, in HSRP, right? So as you can see the track command I have advertised here, right? So this is the features we can configure in HSRP protocol as well. So let's configure this one, right? So as you can see that here I have written the configuration. You can write down. So let me configure the first primary router. I mean R1 is the primary. Let me type also here so that you can easily understand. This is the primary router, right? This is the secondary. This is also is going to be secondary, right? And for your information, I would like to tell you that in HSRP, this router will be in listening state. But I have configured the HSRP. At this time, this R1 router is the primary and R2 is the secondary, and this is also the secondary router. We can call it, right? Just assume. So let me take the console. As you can see that I got the console. Let me show you the HSRP configuration, what I have configured in previous video. So run section standby, right? So as you can see that this configuration has been configured on R1 router because at this time this is the primary. Let me change the host name also. Host name R1 primary, right? Similarly, I have to change in secondary as well. Host name R2 secondary, right? So let me show you the HSRP configuration, what I have configured in secondary router. So run section standby, right? On R3 router, let me show you the HSRP configuration as well. Let me first change the host name, right? Host name R3 secondary, right? So run section standby. So as you can see that this configuration I have configured on R3 router, right? So if I show you the previous configuration, so as you can see that I have configured the previous command in, right? So this is the command what I configured in last video. If line protocol went down, right? I have called the line protocol, right? Object tracking. Let me show you the so run section track, right? As you can see that I have configured the track one interface line protocol. If line protocol went down, right? So let me show you that one interface. So IP interface div. So as you can see that one interface is the big Ethernet 2x0, right? In primary router. So now, so let me show you whether I am able to reach from the LAN area or not. Google DNS. So let me ping this one 8.8.8.8, right? So as you can see the traffic is going through the primary router. So let me show you the trace command also. Trace 8.8.8.8. So as you can see that traffic is going through the primary router, right? So IP interface brief, right? So this is the interface, right? So as you can see that 192.168.1.1 is the LAN interface, right? So now, till now, I haven't configured any IP SLA, right? So in this video, particularly, I will talk about how to configure IP SLA and object tracking with the IP SLA and object tracking. How do we track the WAN IP, right? So let me configure the first we. So let me show you what happens. So first time, let me show you in 8.8.8 -t, right? So at this time traffic is going through the primary router, right? So because virtual gateway is active for the R1 router, right? This virtual gateway is not active for the remaining router. So as you can see that 192.168.1.100 is not active for R3 router and R1 router as well. So see. So at this time, let me down the interface, config interface 1 by 0, sorry, 2 by 0, shut down. So traffic will go via the R2 router, right? So just wait a minute. So as you can see that at this time this router is active, right? R2 I mean. Hold down for a minute. So still I think track is not working for the R1 router. Let me show you. So I interface brief. So R, so it is working. So let me check why I am not able to ping. So as you can see that as soon as I down the WAN interface of the R1 router, then traffic is going through the secondary router. See, as you can see that this router is at this time active router, right? So standby brief, right? And this router will be the standby router. So standby. So as you can see that, so standby brief, right? R3 is the standby, right? So let me bring this interface up, move shut down. So as you can see that, so standby brief. At this time, R1 router is the active router. So as you can see that traffic is not dropping, right? So if I trace 8.8.8, so as you can see that currently it is going through the primary router, I mean R1 router. So let me again down this interface, config system terminal interface 2 by 0, shut down. So at this time, as you can see that it is going through the secondary router, right? Because secondary router is the primary at this time. So no. So let me show you one thing. As soon as WAN's interface goes down, so it will decrement in priority, right? So run section break. So as you can see that decrement will be 30, right? Because line protocol is down, so IP interface. As you can see, line protocol and the status is also down. So run console standby all. So as you can see that configured priority is 200, but current priority is 170. That's why this router is in listening state. So standby brief. So as you can see that at this time it is listening state, right? So let me bring this interface up to 0, shut down. So traffic is still going through the primary router, right? So now I am going to configure today's agenda, right? IP SLA and object tracking. With the IP SLA and object tracking, we will see that how HSRP works, right? So now I am going to track 8.8.8, right? So let me configure the IP SLA first. IP SLA, then sequence number. You can give any of the sequence number, right? Then icmp-echo, then destination IP address. So let me show you destination IP address. As you can see that destination IP address or host name. So I am setting destination host number 8, IP address 8.8.8, and you can configure the source IP address as well as source interface also. So I am going to assign source interface. So in source interface gig Ethernet 2x0, which is the WAN interface. Do so IP interface brief. So as you can see that 2x0 is the WAN interface, right, which is connected to the ISP. So let me set the frequency also. Frequency I am setting 5 second, right? 5 millisecond, or you can say, yeah, 5 second. After 5 second, this router will send the icmp-echo request message to the destination IP 8.8.8, I mean Google DNS, right? So do so history, right? So I have configured this command, right? IP SLA1 sequence number, icmp-echo, then destination IP address, which is the Google DNS IP, then source interface, which is the WAN interface of the primary router, right? And frequency 5. It will send the icmp-echo request message after every 5 seconds, right? So let me allow the time, right? So icmp IP SLA, right? Then I have to set schedule, right? Schedule, then IP SLA number, which I have configured earlier. As you can see that IP SLA1, right? Then live, right? Then I have to configure start time, right? Start time now, right? Live always, forever, right? Then I have to configure track, right? Track object. I am giving track object 10, then IP SLA, then this sequence number which I have configured the IP SLA, right? As you can see that IP SLA 1. And then reachability, I want to check reachability. That's why I'm going to configure track object 10 and IP SLA 1 and reachability. You can give the any of the track number, right? Then if track, right, you can configure other thing also here, delay, right, up, right, delay second and down second as well as, right, down as well as you configure. But I am leaving these things because I just want to check the connectivity. So let me allow this configuration on HSRP interface, which is the facing the LAN interface, right? Interface. Let me show you the LAN interface also. So IP interface brief. So as you can see that gig Ethernet 1/0 is the LAN interface. So let me configure this one interface gig Ethernet 1/0. Then standby, right? Then group number. I am setting group number, right? 1, and what? Track, right? What I have configured track object right here. Track object I am giving 10, right? And decrement, I am setting decrement 30, but you can set any of the number, right? Up to 255, right? Then let me configure delay also, right? Oh, standby 1, delay, let me timer 1 second, and hold down timer 3 seconds, right? Exit. So track, as you can see that right now is track up because 8.8 is currently up and working, right? So as you can see that right now I am able to ping 8.8.8. That's why it is showing that reachability is up, right? Let me show the IP SLA. So IP SLA 1, IP SLA, right? Statics. So as you can see that, right? Okay, operation lifetime, operation time to live forever, right? So let me down this interface. So before that, I want to show you one thing. I have only single ISP, right? A.A.A only is available on this ISP. So in your case, in real scenario, there is a different router is connected to different ISP. So every router is will be connected to different things, right? Routers, right? So in my case, only single ISP. So this, if this will be down, then secondary router will be up, right? So let me down this interface. I mean ISP. You will see the here log. Let me debug IP SLA, right? IP SLA 1. Debug IP SLA trace. I have enabled trace. So let me down the interface. So as you can see that after every 5 seconds, it is sending the hello message to the destination IP 8.8.8, right? Let me down this interface. I mean, let me down the 8.8.8, which is configured on ISP router, right? Let me take the console of ISP router. And one thing, you don't get the access of ISP router in real scenario, right? So let me down this interface. So I interface brief interface loopback 1 shutdown. As soon as I have down this interface, so as you can see that it is sending the log, right? And this router will become the active router. I mean, R2 router will become the standby active router. R2 router is the active router, right? Because it is the higher priority. So it R1 router is decrement in the priority, right? On debug all. Right. So let me show you. So standby all. So standby break, right? So standby all. As you can see that in decrement it is showing the, in priority it is showing the 170, right? Earlier it was showing that 200, right? As you can see that. Let me show you. Let me up this, then you can check that, right? So let me show you the first track, right? So track. So as you can see that reachability is down. So it has been proved that these commands are working, right? So let me show you the configuration, what I have configured. So run section IP SLA, right? So run section track, right? So run section standby, right? So these are the commands. Let me bring up this let me bring up the loopback which I have configured on the ISP end, right? 8.8. So I can interface. So just wait 5 seconds. As you can see that it is active, right? So standby brief. So standby all. It is showing the priority 200, right? Earlier it was showing the 170 because I have configured the IP SLA as well as tracking, and I have called that track command in standby configuration. I mean HSRP configuration of the interface, right? So as you can see that traffic is going through this router. At this time, R1 router is the standby router. Earlier it was the active router. At this time state is showing the standby router. So it has been proved that with the help of IP SLA and track command, you can track the HSRP's interface. I mean one interface you can track that, right? So let me show you what I configured. right? This is the lab, right? What I have set up, and today's main agenda was that to show you the tracking configuration and IP SLA with using track object, how to track the WAN IPs. And in next video, I will show you the how to track any of the route with using the HSRP, right? So thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel so that I can enhance my technical skills. So thank you for everyone.